You know that feeling, when someone's presence starts to feel heavier than it should, not because they speak loudly, but because they dominate the room, even when they say nothing. If you've ever felt emotionally cornered by someone who always needs to be right, to be admired, to be in control, this message is for you. Let's not sugarcoat it. Dealing with a narcissist drains the soul. It's like they feed off your reactions, your attention, your confusion. And the more they take, the less of you remains. But here's what they don't expect. Your silence can become your strongest weapon. Your calm, a force they can't control. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 deeply effective ways to destabilize a narcissist's influence over your life. Not by fighting fire with fire, but by learning how to stop fueling their need for power. This isn't about games or revenge, it's about liberation. And each step, it's subtle, strategic, and rooted in reclaiming your peace. So if you've ever asked yourself, how do I stop giving this person so much power over me? You're exactly where you need to be. Let's begin by shrinking the spotlight they crave and shifting it back to where it belongs. You. Here's something no narcissist wants you to realize. They only hold power if you keep handing it to them. And one of the most effective ways to take that power back is by quietly reducing the space they occupy in your daily life. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. Start by limiting how much of your energy they get. You don't need to answer every text right away. You don't have to justify your silence. When they push for attention with dramatic stories or subtle jabs, resist the urge to engage. Let their words float by like background noise. Emotionally, detaching doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting their mood swings dictate yours. Picture a radio that's always on full blast with static. You can't stop it from playing, but you can turn down the volume in your mind. Now's the time to reinvest that freed up emotional energy. Reconnect with the people who see you, not as someone to control, but as someone to value. Healthy connections don't demand performances. They nurture your real self. And here's the truth. The narcissist will notice. They're attuned to shifts in attention like radar. But don't let that pull you back in. What you're doing isn't an act. It's a return to authenticity. It's not about pretending to care less. It's about truly caring more. About you. The moment you stop revolving around their orbit, they lose their gravitational pull. And that, right there, is the first crack in the illusion of control they've carefully built around you. You know that sting you feel when someone says just the right thing to trigger you? Narcissists are masters at this. It's not random. They study you. They memorize your emotional buttons like a musician memorizes chords. And every jab, every loaded comment is a calculated attempt to pull a reaction from you, because your reaction is their reward. But what happens when you stop playing the part they've written for you? When you refuse to flinch, argue, or justify? That's when the dynamic starts to shift. Next time they poke at your insecurities or twist your words, pause. Don't defend, don't correct, don't explain. Just breathe and let silence speak for you. Change the subject. Excuse yourself. Smile if you must, but don't give them the emotional payoff they crave. At first it will confuse them, maybe even infuriate them, but over time it starts to dismantle the very control they're trying to maintain. The psychological impact on them is profound. Without your emotional energy to feed on, they feel irrelevant, powerless. That's the part they can't stand. And for you, every moment you choose stillness over reaction is a step back to emotional freedom. You're no longer letting them dictate the tempo of your life. You're reclaiming the rhythm and the peace that is rightfully yours. Think of it like this. You're not ignoring the storm. You're becoming the calm it can't shake. And now that you've mastered the art of not reacting, the next move is even more powerful. Learning to quietly question the very image they've built to control others. Every narcissist wears a mask, polished, impressive, untouchable. It's their version of perfection, a carefully constructed image designed to earn admiration, command respect, and most importantly, hide what's underneath. But here's what. most people miss. That mask is fragile. It only stays intact if everyone around agrees to pretend it's real. What happens if you don't? You don't have to call them out. In fact, you shouldn't. Direct confrontation usually backfires. It threatens their illusion too quickly and makes them lash out. But you can gently shine a light on the cracks. Start small. Ask curious questions when their stories don't add up. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't you say something different last time? Or when they take credit for something they didn't do, offer quiet contrast. That's funny. Here's how I remember it. You're not trying to expose them in front of others. You're planting seeds. And those seeds grow into self-doubt, something narcissists go to great lengths to avoid. You can also compare their words to their actions, but subtly. They talk a lot about integrity, but when have they actually shown it? Done right, this doesn't spark a fight. It creates discomfort. Not for you, but for them. And here's why it matters. When the false self is questioned, even indirectly, it forces the narcissist to confront a terrifying possibility that maybe not everyone is fooled. That maybe, just maybe, they aren't as in control as they thought. Once that illusion starts to tremble, their grip on you weakens. And now, with their mask slightly askew, it's time to take the next brave step. Confronting the very tactics they use to manipulate and distort your reality. You ever leave a conversation feeling like your memory betrayed you? Like somehow you're the one who misunderstood, overreacted, or made things up? That's not forgetfulness. That's manipulation, and narcissists are fluent in it. Gaslighting, playing the victim, twisting facts so well that you begin to question your own mind. These tactics aren't accidents. They're strategies to keep you unsteady, to keep you quiet. But here's the truth they can't erase. Reality doesn't vanish just because someone denies it. The first step is simple but powerful. Document everything. No need to obsess. Just keep a calm, private record. Messages, decisions, promises made. Not to argue, but to protect your own clarity. When you're being pulled into a narrative that isn't yours, ground yourself in what you know. You don't need to convince them. Just say, "That's not how I experienced it. I see it differently. I won't argue, but I know what's true for me." No drama, no defense, just presence. This quiet defiance disrupts their game. Without your confusion, their control starts to unravel. You're not playing the role they assigned you anymore, and they can't script your reactions. This is where the power begins to shift. They'll push back, maybe even harder. But every time you stand in your truth without trying to explain it away, you rebuild your psychological boundaries. And with every manipulation that fails, their influence weakens. Because once you stop accepting the script, you start writing your own story again. Now imagine what happens when you stop feeding them the one thing they rely on most: your attention. Picture this: a spotlight on a stage. The narcissist isn't just standing in it, they need it. That light, that attention, that constant validation. It's their oxygen. It's what keeps their ego inflated and their control intact. This is what psychologists call narcissistic supply. The praise, fear, admiration, or even conflict that keeps them fed. And here's the catch. They don't care if the attention is positive or negative. As long as they're at the center of it, they win. So what happens when you dim the lights? Stop over-explaining. Don't rush to comfort them every time they play the victim. Resist the urge to correct, defend, or applaud. You don't have to be rude, just neutral. When they make a dramatic statement, let it land in silence. When they demand praise, offer stillness. When they bait you with chaos, offer calm. They'll notice the shift. And they'll likely panic at first, testing you with guilt, anger, or sudden charm. This is a sign it's working. They're scrambling to refill a supply you've quietly taken away. Yes, it may trigger turbulence, but hold steady. Because every moment you withhold that energy, you're rewiring the dynamic. The long-term impact? Profound. Their influence fades, their power weakens, and you begin to breathe again. You don't need to fight. You just need to stop feeding. And now, with your emotional energy intact and your inner clarity returning, you're ready for the most important part of this journey, the one thing that ties it all together. It's time to step back and look at the bigger picture, how to protect your emotional safety while walking away from this cycle for good. If you've made it this far, take a moment, truly to acknowledge your courage, because recognizing the patterns of a narcissist isn't easy, and choosing to break free from them, that takes real strength. We've walked through subtle, powerful shifts, minimizing their role in your life, refusing to react, exposing the cracks in their mask, resisting manipulation, and cutting off the supply they depend on. None of these steps involve shouting or revenge. They're about quiet resistance, emotional clarity, choosing yourself over and over again. But let's be honest, this path isn't always smooth. There may be pushback, confusion, even grief. That's why your emotional safety must come first. Always. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't carry it alone. Professional guidance can make all the difference, especially when the scars run deep. You deserve support that sees you, hears you, and walks with you. You are not powerless, you are not crazy, and you are not alone. Every step you take toward freedom is a step back toward yourself. So breathe. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. And when they try to pull you back in, let your silence remind them that version of you no longer exists. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate your time and presence here. If this message spoke to you, if it helped you see things more clearly, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. There's more content coming to support you on this journey. Don't forget to like the video if it resonated with you. It really helps this message reach others who might need it too. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What part of this video hit closest to home? Do you know someone who fits this description? What's your story? Whether it's something you've overcome or something you're still navigating, your voice matters here. Let's turn the comment section into a space of strength, truth, and healing. You're not alone, and your experience might help someone else feel seen for the first time. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you in the next one.